So it's important for us to at least get a sense of what was the world like in that part of the world during the time that the people we're reading about were living, and then later on during the time when Moses was actually composing in the 15th century, the Pentateuch. There are several features that when we talk about ancient Near Eastern creation, cosmologies and cosmogonies that explain or that seem to surface themselves regardless of what culture you're reading from. You see a map of the ancient Near East and you have Egypt and you have Northern Africa. That is a sort of culture. And you have Canaan, and that's a culture. And you have Mesopotamia, and that's a culture. And you have the Arabian Peninsula, and that's its own culture. And you have the land of the Hurrians and the Hittites, and that's its own culture. And Syria. So there are vast different cultures here, but if you take any dozen of those and you read their stories, their rationalizations of creation, you see a few features that surface themselves regardless of if it's in Egypt or all the way across the Near East approaching the Asian continent. They almost always begin with a chaotic beginning. So chaos seems to be the thing that defines creation, whether you're talking to an Egyptian or a Sumerian or an Akkadian or Mesopotamian or Canaanite or a Hurrian or someone living at Ugarit. Where did the world begin? Well, they say, well, it began in utter chaos, right? That's what their religious instruction has always been. That's what their worldview has been, that it begins in chaos. So there's no structure, there's no order to it. The creation, however, exists. Its exact origin of beginning is unknown, but it is known that it existed in some kind of chaotic state that was uncontrollable and disorganized. This is what's referred to as a primal condition, a condition where there's no definite bodies of water segregated from land. There's no trees and flora and fauna that are growing on the land. You don't have animals and living beings inhabiting creation at this time. You don't even have distinctions in most of these Near Eastern cosmologies between different heavenly bodies, stars and planets and moons and things like that. You don't have any distinction about these things. It just kind of exists. And it's a very primitive, primal existence that is there in the midst of this chaos. And so you have some kind of material element that's present, something that's making up the chaotic, unfinished product that exists. It's like being outside of the warehouse and all of the metal is there. All of the scrap is there to be melted down, but nothing's been done with it yet. It's just disorganized and there. Then you have creation, and you do have, most often, creation by speech. That is, this is not unique to the Hebrew Old Testament, that you have creation by speech. That the gods begin to organize and structure things, not by physically moving them, but by speaking to them.